I'm going to share with you my 5 top markets to be a listing agent in 2025. And I'm kicking this list off with my number 1 spot being Miami, Florida. I'm Ricky Carruth, and this is your Wednesday real estate update. Now, as you look at the headline here talking about Miami home sales dropped 10.3% year over year in November, you might be asking yourself, Ricky, why in the world is Miami your number 1 spot for listing agents in 2025? If we dig into the data here, you can see active listings have increased almost 25%. If I'm a listing agent and there are more listings on the market, I want to be in that kind of market, which means more opportunity for me as a listing agent to list more properties. If we dig further into the data, days on the market, this is even more beautiful. This is the, I'll just go ahead and say it, worst market in the US, which means it's the best market for listing agents. 77 days on the market means that as you get listings, they're not going to sell as fast, which means you're able to stack listings. You can go out in Miami right now and stack 50 plus listings. Give it 77 days and tell me where you are. Now, I posted this on Instagram and I had a lot of comments around listings don't pay bills and tell me the difference between stacking listings and selling listings, etc. Here's the facts. You have zero control anyway. The market is always in control if your listings sell or they don't sell. When you take yourself out of that equation of being able to control a listing selling and control what you can control, which is serving more people to help them do what they're trying to do, you will win huge. Let's say you spend 50% of your time trying to figure out how to control the uncontrollable. Well, just think about if you maximized 100% of your time around things you could control, which is helping more people. Right? Don't try to make that listing sell. You can't make a listing sell. Stack listings and let the market do what it does. All right. If we dig further into the data, the weeks of supply, we're at 11 months of inventory in Miami. That's an extreme buyer's market. A balanced market is somewhere between 4 and 5 months of inventory. Okay, that's when there's about the same amount of buyers as there are sellers. Okay, we've been in an extreme seller's market for a while, right? Well under 4 months, 3 months. Some markets were in 1 or 2 months there for a little while. Across the nation, we're looking at about 4 months of inventory. Just to give you something to compare it to here, we're at 11 months in Miami. Miami is literally the outlier. The big picture here is that it gives you the opportunity to stack. If you're a listing agent, that's what you want. Why is a slower market, Ricky, a great market for listing agents? Well, I'll tell you, number 1, it's easier to stack listings in a slower market. That's just a fact, right? And that's what I want, a large inventory of listings. There's less competition because as the market slows down, they lean away from the business. They don't lean into their business. So you have less people prospecting. You have less agents out there doing things and active in the market because they feel like, what's the use? The market's so slow, nothing's going on, no closings are happening, nothing's hitting the market. When agents say that, I literally Google their market and I find out that there are so many deals happening every single day. It's like, where do you get your facts from? Nevertheless, you do have these agents, and in these markets, it creates less competition, which gives you a huge opportunity. Also, the slower these markets are, the crazier the rebounds are when this thing turns around, right? The slower the market gets, the more pent-up demand builds, which we're already sitting on massive pent-up demand. Just think about what's going to happen in Miami when things cut loose the other way. And if you're sitting on 20, 30, 40, 50 listings, and this is the perfect opportunity to expand, and guess what? Closings still happen every single day. If we look down in Miami, you look at the homes sold, we're up 2.3% from last year over the past 30, 40 days or so. So when you think about this, like if you look, we're in line with really the last 3 years when it comes to the amount of homes sold in Miami. Homes are selling slower, still same amount of closings happening. And when you look at prices, we're up 11%. So you can stack listings with higher prices. We still have the same amount of closings that we had over the last 2 years. Sign me up. That's the exact market that I want to be in as a listing agent. When we get into these kind of markets, really the name of the game is painting the picture. There's so much data out there. so much data that will allow you to articulate to the seller exactly how this is going to go. Other listings that have sold, that haven't sold, that are pending, etc., that you can show them and say, here's what it's going to look like when we list your property, right? So setting expectations are much, much easier now than they were back when things were crazy. Because honestly, we didn't know. We knew we knew we'd get multiple offers. We didn't know how much it would sell for, right? And so in today's market, with as slow as it is, especially in Miami, it makes it far easier. And you as a real estate agent who wants to be an incredibly successful agent, like, you've got to take advantage of the opportunity to stack listings and be the agent that everybody looks at and says, they got all the listings. That's what you want. And here's the punchline. Why do closings happen every single day forever, regardless of market conditions? It's simple. Home prices always adjust to the current demand, right? If demand slows down and prices need to adjust, the prices are going to adjust to whatever they need to keep closings happening. It's your job as an agent to continue working and serve people at the highest level to do exactly whatever it is that they're trying to do in their real estate portfolio. Okay, here are the CNBC's top 10 buyer markets right now, and you can see 9 of them are in Florida. 2 of these are on my list. And one of those on CNBC's is in Texas. One of mine's in Texas. It's not that one, right? Which they've got as the number one spot. And I looked at these markets and I'm like, how are they even saying that those are the those are the top, buyer markets? Because I saw much stronger buyer markets out there. But nevertheless, this is their list. So what's my number 2 top market for listing agents in 2025? It is Austin, Texas. Now everybody knows that this market has taken a major hit. Home sales declined 45% for area Northwest Austin in November. If you look at the weeks of supply, we're at 22, so 5.5 months of supply. And you can see that's about where we were last year. But again, the national numbers from NAR here, we can see that nationally we're at 3.8 months of inventory right now. And we were at 3.5 months nationally back in November of 2023. Okay, so it hasn't changed much. It's ticked up a little, but this is national numbers. Your local market is going to swing much greater than national numbers most of the time. Austin already had their big jump up in inventory. So comparing it to last year, it's not going to be a big difference, but inventory is up considerably since the pre-pandemic days. So this is, again, a market that I would love to be in Austin. When we look at homes sold, we're about where we were last year. So we've got more inventory than we had a couple years ago. We've got nice inventory compared to demand. And we'll look at median days on the market. Look at this, 75 days. That's right under Miami, right? The higher the days on the market, in my opinion, the better, because the longer they take to sell, the more I can stack up at one time and have a massive inventory of listings. When we look at the sales price, it's up 4% year over year. You're at 450,000 in Austin. Give me Austin. Love to be in Austin, right? Or any slow market. Okay. What's my number 3 top market for listing agents in 2025? It's going to be Nashville, Tennessee. Man, I love me some Nashville. And I'm not picking Nashville just because Derrick Henry from old Alabama sold his home for $3.1 million. Now I'm talking about that Nashville's housing bubble has popped, is what this article says. And there's a lot of room for sellers to keep cutting, Real Estate Executive says. So if we dig into the data here, look at this, 62 days on the market, and listings year over year, active listings were 10% more. I mean, that's an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at the weeks of supply, we're a little under, like 4.5 months there. So we're closer to a buyer's market there. It's more of a balance, which is great. Okay. And if you look at homes sold, we're up 13.5% from last year. Okay. That's a massive opportunity. I mean, and again, we're at 460,000, up 2% year over year, close to that all-time high in Nashville. Tell me why these markets would not be good for a listing agent. You get in there and set the expectations with your seller. You stay in touch with them. You service them as they're listed, right? Before we go under contract, they know that the days on the market in Nashville are 60 days. You've got a plan in place to help them through whatever it is they're trying to go through. You've got their best interest in mind. Tell me why you would not want to be in one of these markets. And mind you, as I've said, these are the markets that are going to turn around the most violently the other way. You spend this time while it's slow to stack your listings, and then you sell you sell a lot of property, and as the market rebounds, who's the champion? These are the moments right here that create number one agents in markets, right? In 2008, that's what created me to be the number one agent in my market. Ryan Serhant started around that same time. This is when he really established his name in New York. I mean, you name a lot of different agents. Okay, they came out of the ashes of these type of markets, right? So my question is that going to be you? Are you going to be one of these agents? All right, what's my next market? Top markets for listing agents in 2025. Good old Dallas. Man, listen, I love me some Dallas. Dallas lost the spot as the number one new home market in Texas, right? Pending sales indicator future sales fell for the fifth straight month. If you look at prices, look, we're up 3%. You're in a market where prices are up, and see how it jumped up a little bit here in the last month or so? Look at that. That's the kind of trend you like. Number of homes sold up 20% from last year. We haven't caught back up to 2021, but look, we're about halfway there, and it almost touched 2021 right there. So we're up 20% number of homes sold. Oh my goodness. Right? What's the weeks of supply looking like? A little under 5 months. So you're close to a balanced market. Yes, please. And active listings were up 21%. And my question is, if you're in Dallas, is your listing inventory up 21% from where it was last year? Median days on the market, look at this, 51, but look how it's kind of shot up. And you can see it shot up this time of year for the last couple of years as well. So that's pretty normal for it to shoot up this time of year. But we're at 51 days on the market. All right, Dallas, one of my top markets for listing agents in 2025. And where is my last number 5 on the list market for listing agents in 2025 is going to be good old Tampa, Florida. And the biggest thing I think in Florida is homeowners insurance, right? And I think this is something that's going to bleed into the rest of the country, okay, with these homeowners insurance companies. But home sales in Tampa fall amid hurricane recovery, insurance rates increases. This is a big deal. Think about insurance rates, okay? It's homeowners insurance can increase a mortgage payment dramatically without the mortgage rate going up at all. Our payment for our personal house went up like $300-400, like 2 years after we bought the house, just because insurance went up. Like, it can literally crush you after you already have the mortgage. So like, your mortgage isn't necessarily locked in because you got these variable costs that are figured into your mortgage. And so that's very interesting when you think about it. And if you think about, the ratio between what people spend on the mortgage payment to what they make, et cetera, and banks look at all that stuff, and you start figuring the insurance in there, and if insurance increases, it reduces your buying power, which could have an effect on purchase price. This is something that we need to pay attention to moving forward. But nevertheless, the Florida housing market crumbles. Homeowners struggle to sell, rising insurance costs, and storm fears. Okay, let's look at Tampa. Median days on the market, 47. Not as crazy as the other markets, but it's still up there. Yeah, it's up 20%. But look at the spike of the days on the market. That's what I'm interested in right there. Okay, that's a different spike than the rest of the years. You see a little spike this time of year normally, but it's a little more dramatic this year there in Tampa. Okay, homes sold, we're up 5% from last year in homes sold. And you can see the squiggly line. It's about right in there with the last 3 years. Hey, we're selling the same amount of homes, give or take. Prices are still the same, down 1%. It's showing here we're at about 370, but if you look at the squiggly lines, we're about the same as we were the past 3 years. So we're looking at, the same high prices that we've had. You've got weeks of supply, about 5 months. Look at that hump, though. Look how high it got. It got up to 35 months for a second a couple months ago. I got to look into that. Like, what caused that? What's going on there? Something's skewing the data. That just looks weird. All right, and if you look at active listings, we're up 15%. Guys, if you're in Tampa, is your listing inventory up 15% from where it was last year at this time? Right? That's my question from me to you. Let's put your 2025 business plan together. If you haven't taken my 2025 business planning session, I'll put a link in the description for the replay, or you can DM me on Instagram at Ricky Carruth. I answer all my DMs, and I hope this video helped inspire you to understand that regardless of how slow you think the market is, it's the most incredible opportunity that you more than likely will ever see in your life. All right. I'll see you guys on the next video. Until then, keep selling.